Right, colleagues, a very good afternoon to you, and thanks for making time for this pre-series press conference. We are done with the T20 formats and now on to the ODIs, which are part of the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup Super League. So with me here is the Zimbabwe captain, Craig Ervine, who will be taking all your questions. Right, who's gonna get us going? Yes, Tatenda.
All right, thank you, Darlington, Sean. So I think maybe just if you could just let us know some of the lessons perhaps you just learned from the T20 series that's just finished, and then also just as a general observation, maybe, do you feel that compared to other cricket series that Zimbabwe is perhaps a bit of a favorite this time around, and perhaps is that type of pressure a bit different, since you're now perhaps more favored going into a series, and how has the boys perhaps handled that?
I think one of the things we can take from the T20s is the fact that it can be difficult up the top with a new ball, and we saw in all 5 games that you can easily be 3 or 4 down early with the new ball. So I think going into the ODIs, that'll definitely be one key area that we need to look at, and for us to try and set a platform for the latter overs. And in terms of the different pressures, obviously being favourites, I wouldn't really say that we're favourites. I'd say that we're pretty on par with Ireland. I know that we have the inclusion of Sean Williams and Sikandar Raza now on the squad, and that'll give us a little bit more confidence as well. But I think it's more of us playing the brand of cricket that we want to play, and not worrying too much about those added pressures with it being Super League and all of that. I think we just got to look at playing each ball, each over, and each game as best we can.
All right, Teach, you can come through.
Hi, Craig. Okay, looking ahead to the ODIs, we had the young players mostly getting more game time during that T20 series. What were your thoughts in terms of their performance there? And with the return of some of the more experienced players for the Super League games, which are points, how do you think the return of the super players, the senior players, will help you guys in terms of getting a positive result?
Oh, look, I think the T20 wickets were quite difficult to bat on. Clontarf was probably not quite ready. They'd actually relayed their square, so that was those 2 games down there were quite difficult. But I just felt that the youngsters were a little bit low in confidence, and going into these ODIs, I feel that having Raza and Williams come in will obviously help them, give them a little bit more confidence, give the whole squad a bit more confidence, because there's a little bit more experience coming in, and so there's a few extra heads for them to learn from.
All right. Munya Madzokere. Yes, Munya, you're on mute. You can come through. Okay, Larry, let's go to Larry in the meantime.
Hi, Craig. Commiserations on the loss of the series, but at least you got the 2 wins and an important win to end the series on. Sorry, it just took a little bit late to come through because they were just changing the curfew in Zimbabwe. You might be excited about that. So, but what I wanted to ask is, there seems to be a problem with Zimbabwe getting 2 wins on the trot. So, like, for example, when we won the first one, trying to get the lads back to winning the second one and the third match, and it's happened in like when we've had bilateral series before, not talking about like when we went to Singapore and stuff. But how do you work around this? Say, for example, if you win the match tomorrow, how do you motivate the lads around that to try to get them to pick them up again themselves again to win 2 in a row?
Yeah, look, it's a very good question. I think a lot of the times maybe it's complacency. You know, I think you can put it down to quite a few things. But one of the things that I feel, you know, you can control if you do win the first one is obviously your attitude. And I feel that the way you go about your business can also determine the result. And you know, there's other things like, you know, Ireland are obviously going to come back fighting like they did in that second T20, and we did a great job of putting 150 on the board. We looked like we were out of it for the first bit of that, and I think it's, you know, getting the guys to approach it with the right attitude and the belief to believe that you can win 2 in a row, and I think that maybe that belief is not quite there, but it's definitely something to work on, and it's consistency for our performances needs to improve.
All right, yes, any other questions? Yes, Larry, you can go again.
Sorry, just another one. Is there any injury news? Do we have a clean bill of health? Is everybody available in the team?
Yes, I think everybody should be available for selection for tomorrow's game. So that's a positive thing for us.
And then, sorry, just one more. I saw that in the ODI yesterday, or rather the one day yesterday, we experimented with a different opening partnership of what we've done recently. Is that something we're looking at, or is just that to just get some game time?
Well, the game was shortened a little bit yesterday, so we did tinker around with the batting order just to try and give some of the guys that haven't had much match practice a chance. So we'll have to sit down and obviously discuss the combinations that we're going to go with tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Larry. Let's have Teach, and after Teach, Tatenda, you can come through again.
All right, looking at the conditions that you guys are playing against in that T20 series, and looking at the performance you guys had in that warm-up match yesterday, how are you expecting the pitch to play going into this ODI series?
I think the wicket should be a little bit better than down in Dublin and in Brady. I think Stormont is a much more sort of test ground, I guess, if you could put it that way, for Ireland. I think having a brief look at the wicket today, it looks really good. But as you know, in Irish conditions, it can move around quite a bit in the air and off the wicket. So we'll have to have a good look tomorrow morning before we do the toss.
All right, thank you, Tatenda.
All right, thank you, Dalton. So just two quick questions. I think one sort of piggybacking off what Larry was going on, I think you touched on the issue about confidence. I suppose in hindsight, would you say perhaps it was perhaps there's a bit of a loss of confidence, maybe, as it were, amongst some of the younger players, sort of like after the T20? Was it that the mindset wasn't right from perhaps the get-go? And then secondly, maybe just borrowing a bit on what Titch was saying, do you feel that you guys have now perhaps adjusted properly to the Irish conditions, and you're, you know, a bit, I won't say prepared, but more well ready to face whatever may come your way?
Yeah, I think it's always difficult I guess as a batter and you're up the top of the order, you know, and when you don't string a couple of innings together, just naturally your confidence drops. And it's just trying to work on your game to get that confidence back up. And I think guys are definitely getting used to the conditions and just learning how to go about their innings. T20 cricket, you obviously can't hang around for too long. You have to take the risks. But now moving into the ODIs, hopefully that gives guys a little bit more time to occupy the crease and build that foundation for us to attack later on in the innings. So I think guys will definitely be confident that they have a little bit more time to bat out in the middle, and they don't feel like, you know, they have to get going right from the start.
All right, gents, thank you very much for your time. I hope we'll meet again tomorrow, virtually, of course, after the match. You must enjoy your afternoon. Thanks very much once again.